This tomb seems to be in a clean and undestroyed state from outside. However, the internal state is extremely critical. Nothing is left in the palace. There only lies money from the tourists who prayed a wish. In the crack of rocks, coins were stuck stubbornly. It is a sad sight for Korean visitors. The walls were damp and water was dripping from the ceiling. This is a place that should have been conserved for the future generation, not a tourist attraction. The fact that Asia's most well-conserved pyramid was being used solely for the purpose of collecting money showed the reality of how cultural properties were being disregarded in China. If the Chinese honestly believed that the history of Goguryeo is theirs, would they still have distorted and damaged it so severely? This fact proves that China does not consider Goguryeo history as theirs. The Chinese, who were selling off 2 pyramids and cultural assets that were built by Korean hands, were now selling Goguryeo instead of silk. China considers distorting history as a national project. They claim that all of Northeastern Asia's history, starting from Tibet, East Turkestan, and all nations that existed within China's territory, is theirs. There are 55 different kinds of minority races in China. They consist up to 8.4% of the total population in China. But the land they reside in is more than 60% of China, and they all have excellent resources. If China fails to unite these minority races, they will be in danger of losing more than half of their territory. Consequently, China is oppressing many minority races and refuses to acknowledge their right to independence in Tibet, East Turkestan, and Inner Mongolia, despite criticisms from the international media. China was desperate to unite its minority races, and the method they chose was distortion of history. After forcefully entering Tibet's and East Turkestan's history into Chinese history through their Southwestern Project and Northwestern Project, they turned their eyes to the Koreans, who resided in the northeastern areas, and started their Northeastern Project. The Chinese Northeastern Project distorts all of Korea's history into China's, starting from early Chosun, Goguryeo, and Palhae. They also claim that all Korean cultural assets within their territory are theirs, and registered them as Chinese with UNESCO, thus degrading the Korean people's roots to that of a minority race within China, and promoting this distortion to the world. This is a serious situation that will affect the Koreans' present and future. Korea's long history, that dates back to more than 5,000 years, will be shortened to only 2,000 years. In the case of territories, the vast Manchurian plains and all of North Korea will be lost, and Korea's history will be discredited into a small, powerless nation's history that is limited to only the area south of the Hangan River. China's Northeastern Project intercepts the Korean influence over the Manchurian plain, so that the Korean people's preemptive rights will be terminated. China is currently proclaiming that North Korea is one of the 4 provinces northeast. If North Korea faces an unexpected collapse, China might use this fact to claim North Korea's territory as their own. The Chinese BBC already indicates North Korea as part of China. World-famous search engine Google, as well as American and Canadian textbooks, all indicate Korean history as that of China's. 34 major corporations around the world have 53 maps, which indicate all or some part of Korea as China's. However, those areas are clearly the territory of Koreans who fought China for hundreds of years. The world has the responsibility to correct China's distortion of its own minority races' history. Goguryeo and Balhae are all part of Chinese history because it was built on Chinese land. Goguryeo and Balhae was a smaller government that was controlled by the Chinese central power or rule. Goguryeo and Balhae were given the investiture of China. Korean ancient history was recorded by the Chinese. Is the history of USA, Canada, and Australia recorded by the English?